Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining in from all across the world. If you are able to see and hear me and Mukesh clearly, just put a hi in the chat box. Hey everyone, thanks for joining in. If you can see and hear me, just put a hi in the chat box. Thanks so much for making it today for a really interesting session by today's speaker. And welcome back to Insights with Upgrad. And I hope you all have a great time. Great, thank you, Amit. Thanks for validating. You can see and hear us. Before I move on to introduce the speaker for the day, two quick rules. Just for any questions you have for Mukesh to address at the end of the session, please use the Q&A box. For any in-between questions you have, any issues with the audio and video, do use the chat box. So that's the two quick rules. Let me also launch the poll to understand a little bit more about all of you, the work experience you have, and what are you expecting from today, so that Mukesh gets a head start for his session. I hope you can see the live results, Mukesh.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah. Okay. I think good number of people with 6 to 14 years experience range.
Yes. So I think that's a new thing. I think we've always seen a younger audience, and
by the way,
a lot of them are
young. It's not
and a lot of them are really hopping onto the upskilling bandwagon. So great to know that, and you are here to help them out and give them a path which is much needed. So Mukesh happens to be the VP CTIO of Capgemini, and we are really happy to have him again, and this time for a session which all of you had put in great demand in the previous sessions, which is how do we upskill if we don't have a technical background, right? And this entire journey is going to be made very easy by Mukesh. So I let you take over from here, Mukesh.
Thank you. So I'm seeing good results, good number of participants. That's good. So hello and welcome. Let me share my slides. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Welcome to this session. The purpose of this session is to give a little bit perspective about how this data science field is growing and the importance of knowing and knowledge about what data science is and how it is changing the way we look at things, including people from tech and non-tech background. A brief about myself: 26 years in the industry. Most of my time was working for Microsoft in US, and the product you use, I'm sure several of you have used or are using Outlook. I had the honor to write Microsoft's first ever AI algorithm, 1999, 22 years back. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well today. Always been in technology, but one thing I always noticed that, it's not the pure technology which makes the difference. It's the idea, it's the can-do attitude, and it's the functional domain knowledge which is what makes a difference. In the next 35 minutes, I'm going to cover some of those elements of those, and happy to answer any question you may have, and essentially give you a flavor of how the industry is moving in this area. It's been 10 years since I came back to India, and I've been a regular teacher, speaker, or faculty at IIT, IIM, BITS Pilani, Upgrad, and multiple places. And I love sharing knowledge. Published 2 books and writing my 3rd book. And I'm an advisor and coach for several of these colleges. So let me give a glimpse about the whole journey, like some of the milestones, right? I started my career as C language programmer 1995. I know some of you were not born at that time. But the thing was, it's essentially, okay, what else can be done? How can I use data? And I was always trying to capture the data. At that time, no analytics, no data science, no Upgrad was there. It was about, okay, data, okay. And the cost was huge. in terms of internet cost, in terms of storage cost, it was exorbitantly high. But yes, it was just a beginning, just capture something while doing the programs. Microsoft worked there for 13 years, but always the whole focus was, how can I use some of this learnings I have? Then soon I realized after joining Microsoft that yes, you need to be technologically strong. But after working for Microsoft about 5 years, I moved my role into a product management role rather than a technical role. In Microsoft, you have the opportunity to move around, and even a lot of companies are now encouraging you move between the tech and non-tech role. So I moved into a non-tech role and essentially coming up with the ideas, the art of possibilities, and that actually helped create a lot of innovation there. And that is also something which I would say in 2006, I was getting more and more involved in those kind of, hey guys, let us do this. The ideas were a lot more important, especially after we lost Hotmail to Gmail. Microsoft said, okay, fine, what do we need to do? How business team, how the non-tech people need to buckle up. Came back to India to 2011, about 10 years back, set up Microsoft Center in Bangalore. Then I worked for Geo and NICE. Now I am at Capgemini as a Chief Technology Innovation Officer. And I think we say the role is almost similar what I used to do, but mostly focused on, okay, now what future is, how can we make it happen? Okay. With that setting context, if you see, we always are busy. Or at least we think we are busy, right? This is a common challenge. Sometimes we lose focus. Sometimes we are challenged of not able to spend enough time doing the right things. Sometimes we face this lot more challenge. The fact that all of you are attending this session, at least hopefully it's something new you will learn today. And next, the important part. I will let you read this slide first. This is very true. It happened with me multiple times. 1998, when I was working in India, in Mumbai, my friend's brother got a job in Intel. I was fascinated by that. Like, wow, what it takes to get a job in Microsoft, Intel in US. Google, Facebook, there is no Google and Facebook at that time. So these are the only couple of big companies. Like you are like super dream company, right? He said, Mukesh, forget it. You can never get into Microsoft. So fine. Still, I went ahead and after some time, I applied for Microsoft. Which name kya jata hai? In Hindi, in English. There is no harm in asking. I tried and it worked. They interviewed me and blah, 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 and then got into Microsoft. Had I listened to my friend, I would never get into Microsoft. So yes, you need to review, you need to check with people and all, but try and take inputs, serious input from senior folks rather than from junior folks, because these are the people who actually have been there, done that. So I think getting those inputs from the right people is always critical. And that made a huge change in my life. Like taking back few decades, few centuries, 1750 was the one when the mechanics started. So why are we talking about AI analytics now, right? But if you notice, it took a solid 150 years to move from mechanics to electric. 150 years is a lot of time. But then the innovation fast track from 150 years to 70 years in electronic, from 70 years to like 20, 30 years to get into cyber system, what we are. And I think AI is tomorrow, not today, tomorrow. It's important to notice some of the use cases we see around are still scratching the surface. If you see, most of the use cases we have in AI is chatbot, Siri, Cortana, Alexa, or some use case around facial recognition and all. And that's it. That is it. How much of us are taking decision based on artificial intelligence? We are not. So that's why it's more and more important. So why do we need data science now? Users have choice. Now, this is the area where I think the big difference between tech and non-tech comes in. When we are tech, we always think about data, technology, cloud, all those stuff. But that is not the solution. The solution is the business, money, revenue, cost, satisfaction. I think that is the solution. But for that, how do you get there? Now think about it when you are trying to book a cab, Ola or Uber in India. But other places it could be Uber versus Lyft versus taxi. Could be any of the combination. But when you're trying to book, you have a choice. When you have a choice, what do? You do see the second point, which is anytime, anywhere, the one which is giving you the best service at that moment of time, at that place, you will go with that. That part is there. But now, if you're purely using a technical, let's say, and you're trying to book Uber and it shows you like this, how many seconds are you going to wait? 7.2 seconds in India, 4.4 seconds in US, 2.1 seconds in Japan. That is the threshold level. But then, if the business team, the people we normally call non-tech, if the business team does not put the rules in place in, hey, if I see somebody having this thing, I want to make sure I alert. If I see people are trying to book but don't book, I see if the cancellation is very high, I want to see the data. So that is something is required. The use cases, the thought process, the thought leadership, without which we are not there yet. So bring that perspective in mind. Otherwise, it's a challenge. Otherwise, it's a big challenge for anybody to work on it. Now, analytics to understand usage and innovate. And this is my experience on the business side. While my current role is a CTIO, Chief Technology and Innovation Officer. For tech side, I am a technology officer, and for the innovation side, which is where I interact with business, is my innovation side. So the good combination is what is required. So I'm sure in some of you who are from a tech background or who are from non-tech background, you always have buddy on the other side. A tech guy, you need to have buddy at the non-tech side, and the non-tech guy need to have buddy on the tech side of it. I think that combination is unique, and that's why we see a lot of value. More and more organizations are competing on analytics. Okay. But let me show you a couple of things, like, which is, the innovation side. On the business side, on the non-tech side, the innovation comes in. How do you leverage the latest technologies? How do you leverage AI? How do you use the data for better experience? Because the ultimate goal is to bring more money, to bring more business to the company. So how do you lead those parts? Kano, the scientist, suggested some model. And this slide, by the way, is 18-year-old slide. You don't need a techie to understand these features. And I purposely kept this 18-year-old slide because if some of you remember at that time, this was the phone. I see that several of the people, right, are there with 6 to 14 years experience level as well. See this phone, 18-year-old phone. At that time, if you were able to, wow, you can do email on the phone. It was a wow factor, by the way. Now you don't, right? Email, Google, everything, apps, everything is expected, everything will just work. But that was a wow factor, delight. And then more, or the cow in Hindi, in English, give me more memory, more RAM, more screen, more power, more. You increase the expectations. Now your mobile phones are a lot more powerful than we ever had. My first computer, 1994, was 4 MB RAM. So now our CPU have much higher RAM than sometimes even our laptops. Our mobile phone have more RAM than laptops. Okay, and then there's some dissatisfied. Yeah, something doesn't work, but at the same time, there's a must-have. If these are not there, I will not take it, which are like send and receive phone calls and so on. What Kano suggested that over a period of time, all these moves to the must-have. Move to must-have. What does that mean? Which means you need to be able to have those features ready. And this is the differentiator. As a business person, as a non-tech person, if you are not innovating, if you're not thinking one step ahead, you are challenged. Okay, earlier, right? If thing doesn't work, it was just, okay, fine, it didn't work. You had a option, secondary option. But right now, no. If the thing doesn't work 3 times in a row, you have to move. You're going to stop using that particular service. All those things come into picture more and more often. One of the elements which I want to see that each of us, mostly the business people, take decisions. How do people take decisions? I still see several people take a decision like a hippo. Hippo as in hippopotamus. Highest individual paid person's opinion. It's sad, but sometimes we have to take decision because we don't have option. We don't have data. I'm also hippo a lot of time. Hey guys, let's just do this. Do you have data? I don't know, but I have a feeling that this will work. See, that's still okay, some of the area, but then if you're taking decision, no, I want this particular color, mera wala blue, I want this particular shade, I want this particular change. Just because I don't, just because I'm a highest paid person, I'm taking decision, that's wrong. We as a business people, non-tech people, if we are able to take decision based on the data, it will be a different world altogether. More and more people will be serious about it. And yes, when we don't have data, we experiment. But A works better or B works better, A versus B. All those things can be done, potentially can be done. And this is what I was trying to highlight here. Now look at the decision point. Everything, anything and everything we do, there is a decision. Especially when I'm talking to several of the business folks, non-tech folks, one of the things I keep hearing them is, yeah, Mukesh, I want to take decision, but getting something from IT team is a nightmare. Getting some system, we don't have a system, we don't have the data. I have the data, but I cannot trust it. These are all common things. Nothing against IT, nothing against, I'm a tech guy person myself. But yes, because things take time. Some of the product I have built as a Capgemini, which is actually helping us position ourselves to make it simpler for people to take decisions. But yeah, it is challenge. We all know it is challenge. As simple as which ad to be shown. You need to show. But as a business, if you can tell the logic rather than saying, hey, show the ad whichever is making more money. Or we don't want to let the technical team decide which ad to show, right? And of course, not manual, it's automated, but the algorithm has to be written. Instead of blindly saying whichever gives more money, put that ad, how about if we make it a little bit more data-driven? The likelihood of somebody clicking on that ad is also important, because showing the ad is not enough, right? Somebody should click on it. That's why we make most money. You know, the ad system, that's how it works. I worked in advertising for almost 6 years. About 3.5 years in Microsoft, and then 2.5 years in Geo. And that is exactly what we wanted to do. Which ad to be shown well. So instead of just blindly deciding that he's giving 5 rupees, he's giving $10, let's show that ad. No, show the ad which have likelihood with data, probability with data. Same thing for home loan. Should I just accept the home loan, approve it, credit card? How do I do that? Video is an interesting one. I don't know if you have observed this. Go to YouTube, go to your favorite thing and try to search for something. And you will see kind of the recommendation you get will be amazing. About a year back, I was trying to watch YouTube, and then I have got nostalgic and I was trying to watch some old song. It started working. But after the song was over, I was too lazy to press the stop button. It actually came with another song. It didn't ask me, just started playing from the same era. I would say that was the best side thing I've seen on YouTube. This recommendation piece, they were able to crack it and show me more. I never said I want to have song from 30 years old song. No, but I just played one song and it picked up that my signal and all. Compared to when I'm watching a news, it doesn't just pick all the news from that same era. No, it does not. Movie, it's not from era. So all of them have different perspective. And this is the difference a non-tech person, the business guy, can make. To say, hey, I want this. And you have the data science team, you have the technical team to implement it for you. The decision-making piece, the algorithm, the thought leadership, what we can bring as a business people is just amazing. Okay, recommendation. What recommendation can be made on the e-commerce site like Amazon or Big Basket? By the way, I have my own views about some of the recommendations that are just pathetic. But some of them, wow, how did the person know that I want that? No wonder Amazon makes 65.1% sale purely based on recommendation on Amazon books. Wow, that's a lot of number. If you go there to buy one book, you end up buying 3 books. That's what 65% translates into. That's the power of recommendation. Supply chain, which movie to release. I'm consulting one of the US clients now. Should we release the movie on Netflix, Amazon, or should we just wait for the theaters to open up? And of course, understanding why. So why people are leaving the app. Each of this area have decision making, and as you can see, when I explain to you, you don't need technical part of it. The data science piece, once you understand the power of data science, even without coding, even without doing a lot of those things, you can actually get the value, and people say, wow, this guy is a thought leader. He comes up with these crazy ideas and getting it done. You're driving more value to the business. That is what I want the key takeaway for you to understand, that how much value we can bring at the business side of it. So when you talk about data, what all things cover into data, right? The data has a lot of things. Qualitative, quantitative, Think about it, right? When you finish a transaction, you get the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Select one number based on the experience. You will select one of the number. At the same time, you also give those things about text, about what worked, what did not work, and all of those structured, unstructured data, activity or inactivity. Everything is your data. Now think about it. Since today, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, IST, you are on this call. You are inactive on your WhatsApp. People trying to reach you is the last thing 8 p.m. India Standard Time. Because data tells a lot about somebody. Also the intent. 2020. And I think 2020, what comes to your mind? Cricket, right? It could be Parle Biscuit, it could be a book by Dr. Abdul Kalam, or it could be 2020 COVID year. And by the way, 2020 is a weight loss program in US, and 2020 is a talk show in UK. If 2020 have so many meaning, how do you decide? How do you decide which one to show? And it's not, the answer is not simple, right? Just on the IP address. So this is where, again, the non-tech part, the business side comes in a lot more important. And when you talk about analytics, right, it's important for us to know that it is not, analytics is not Python programming. Analytics is the thought process, is the process, scientific process of deriving insights from data using the facts and all. So yes, some basic knowledge of the programming is good, always beneficial. But yeah, you can think, hey guys, take this data from these 4 sources, come up with something and then build it out. That part, business can do it, because business understands value of data, value of decision making at the right time. Now here is a quick journey. If you look at it right on the bottom, we all think we start with data. Actually, no. Of course, data, as soon as I say data, you have some Excel file in front of you with the columns and everything, you know. Actually, no. You don't start with data, you start with measurements. Why measurements? It's easy to say I want data, but somebody has to give it to you, right? How would you get it? Who would give it to you? Measurements. Measurement captures the data. A business team will say, mention, hey guys, please capture this, and that data and define what is active user, whatever those are. Once you have the measurement in place, you get data. Data by itself has zero value, huh? Zero value, unless it gets translated into information. People will say, hey, yeah, 10 lakh rupees collected in the store. But what about that? But when you have information, oh, which means this, and that. Oh, okay, now it makes sense. Then you get into insights. Oh, by the way, the average is 20 lakhs, and you only get 10 lakhs, or whatever the number is, 1 million or 2 million. That is the insights. Oh, it is better than earlier or less than earlier. And then you get into the predictive part of it. If this is the trend, if this has something has happened, what is the prediction? How will we go forward? Right? That is a predictive element. And then comes the prescriptive. Looking at all this part, hey guys, give the 10% off and use this technique. That's why you get more revenue. Predictive. Ultimately, when you have all these things ready, you have insights, you have prediction, and your prescription, you say, okay, fine, I'll take decision. You take decision and you take action. So this whole journey, see, I'm in this industry for 26 years. While I was working at Microsoft for 13 years, or at Geo, and now at Capgemini, I always have thought about how can I make it easier for business team, a non-tech team, to take decision quickly. See, tech decisions are different from the business decision. So business decision, you make minor decision, it can bring you more $1 million. And if you make some mistakes, of course, you can lose $1 million. And that's why it's become more important. How can you trust the data? How can you get more value from the data? And so on. Let me give some examples and then I'll open up for questions. So see this data point, right? Send error report. Okay. Now, when I came up with this idea, this was 1999, 22 years back. When I came up with this idea, my manager told me, Mukesh, that's the most pathetic idea I ever heard. I said, why pathetic? Why do you think it's not working? He said, no, nobody's going to click on the button. He was right. Only 1.4% people clicked on the button. Still, and the product is used by millions of people, 1.4 is enough data. Now here, the thing was to understand, why is it crashing? Code, scenario, user data, and all. And if you notice, right, if you just do simple data science part, simple, even Excel for that matter, you can get some good value. But then this was done, this sophisticated understanding, we were able to pinpoint that these are the 6 scenarios, these are the 20 scenarios where users have challenges and we were able to fix it. Because ultimately, you cannot have 100% testing done anyway. But this product like this, services like this, helps us nail down, help us find out which are the places where it is testing. This is the place where I want you to have a key takeaway of challenging the status quo. Status quo. Now think about it. Now here, if you see, when I was at Microsoft, I always used to ask this question: why does search link color is blue? One of the senior person asked me, okay, Mukesh, what color do you have in mind? Green, red, yellow, what do you want? I said, no, I'm not sure. So he gave me some knowledge and he was right. He gave me something that why it is blue color. Because it is color of trust, the data, soothing to the eyes, all of those things. But my question still remained in my mind. It's okay, why that shade of blue? This is also blue. This is also blue, but the shades are different. You will see different shades of blue, right? So I asked this question, why this shade of blue? And the response I got was, Mukesh, no particular reason. I said, fine, how about we run an experiment? Our color at that time was this. What we decided was 4 color darker, 5 color lighter, so total 10 color, and then go live. 10% people will see each of those color randomly distributed, and we ran it for some time. We ran it for 2 weeks. To our surprise, 9th darker shade gave us better click-through rates, much higher click-through rate. We changed it. In 2 days, we changed it. Most of the countries, of course, there are few countries where they'll prefer lighter color, and for those countries, even today, lighter shade of blue is shown, and for most of the other countries, darker shade of blue is shown. Now, this is the important part. Did I knew the answer? No. Curious mindset. As a business people, you don't need to answer, and this is not a technical solution at all, right? Nothing technical. It's just a thought. I think these are some of the things people from business side, because you know the business, you can bring those value, enormous value, which a techie will not. Techie will not. See, in my experience, I switched my job multiple times, right? Within Microsoft also, I switched tech and non-tech role, because as soon as I went to non-tech, and like in fact, the reason I joined Capgemini for me was to at least get that flavor about what it takes to talk to the client. And when I'm talking to the client, right? Hey, we can do this in the cloud, blah, blah, blah. No, that is not the answer I tell client. I talk to the client, say, you know what? This is how the future is. You want people to be able to make decisions like that. You want to be embedded. You want to do this edge part of it, and you want to do this part. The client says, well, that makes sense. How would you make it happen? Oh, by the way, technology will take care of it. But that innovation line item, that thought process is what client buy. Tech is just an enabler. So this is an example I want you to leave with. The analytics part I already covered. You got the idea about the books part of it all, but also the e-commerce analytics for everything you do on e-commerce. You go to the site, you do comparison, you purchase, you put on the cart, you remove from the cart, everything is understood. Are you buying it for the first visit, second visit, third visit? All of those things are monitored to see. Next time when you go, and you might have observed, once in a while, once you visit the site, you get an SMS or you get an offer, which your family member or some of your friends are not getting. I always get this challenge wherein I don't never get an offer in Uber. My daughter always get offers in Uber. Why? Because probably she is using less Uber. So they want her to come more. I'm using more Uber. I get upgrades, free upgrades, but I don't get offers. So you can imagine how much deep analytics they do. The layout. When you open the email, marketing email, they understand, oh, you normally read email at 6 p.m. in the evening, your personal emails. Okay. So then they'll target you on that time. And of course, how to offer response to that. So each of the element, the thought process, without being technical, you can actually bring more value, especially if you know the potential of data science. So if you know that, hey, machine learning algorithm for clustering will help you do that, time series forecasting will help you do that, random forest will help you get there, linear regression will help you predict better. All those things, if you understand, now when you give this requirement to your team, the data science team or the tech team, they will be able to do it. Or you could yourself be the data scientist. If you have a passion around doing that, you could be doing that as well. And my favorite, junk filter. This was I would not say it's a tech product. It was more about understanding of human behavior. Think about it. If you are receiving a junk email or a good email, right? That's what you receive. Are you going to read a junk email for more than 5 seconds? Are you going to delete an important email in less than 3 seconds? I think the answer is no. That was the algorithm. When I came to know that Bill Gates gets 15, 16,000 junk email per day, something has to be done. Of course, that time there was no Python or R and all. Just understanding the user behavior, using this as a supervised learning, tagging the data and using NLP, extracting those information and doing it, 94% of Bill Gates' mail was caught successfully. Yeah, there will always be the few things on the borderline here and there, but I'm sure better than getting all 15,000 junk, right? So these are some of the examples how business add value. And last, of course, when I was at Geo, because it was the first time launch, and I'm sure some of you would have seen, it's been 5 years now since Geo was launched. September 2016 was when it launched. The thing I wanted, okay, fine, can we have this SIM given free for all the people so that when they use it, we can capture the data about are they getting the signal? As simple as that. 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, 4 bar, 5 bar. Which location, which lat long location? The clustering technique we used and some of the neural network technique we used, and we were able to find out, nail down. And you would have seen every week, the quality was improving. That's what the Geo is. And I'm just telling you the story behind that, how it was done. Career opportunities, when we talk about, right? Some of you might be thinking about career progression in your company. Some of them are other companies. 9 years back, Harvard Business Review covered this sexiest job of 21st century. And I think it's true. It's just making it a lot more true now. Maybe during pandemic, maybe people have slightly more time and maybe a lot of people are getting upskilled themselves. During the initial part of pandemic, you saw a lot of companies have asked several people to leave. And who are these people? Who are people who are not upgraded themselves. Last year, 1.5 years back, Bloomberg came up with a $500 billion economy. My observation of this industry is a huge shortage of data scientists, huge. Even at Capgemini, several of the people at business side, tech side, data science side, huge opportunity, program manager, product manager, business development people. It's hard to find people. Market is very hot, we all know that part. But if you look at the role, the functional, the data science and the tech role, this is how the combination. So a tech person will be always software, building apps, backend, data pipelines. Data science will be mostly in the statistics, model building, running the model, experimentation, and all those parts. But when you come to the functional element, business, understanding of the domain, understanding of the sector, what use case to come up with, that crazy idea, can we do this? Can we have this kind of thing? That is something which comes in here. And yes, knowledge of a little bit of data science, a little bit of tech helps you get there even faster. The product management feature, the product management part is the weakest in India. I teach product management at IIT, SP Jain, IIMs, and Upgrade, multiple places. The product management is the biggest challenge, biggest link. Why? Because we are not used to that. We are used to service company, somebody telling you. But when you're building use cases in data science, that is uncharted territory. You could be writing a lot of the product management spec. And when I say spec, I'm talking about 1 page or 2 pager. You can say, hey, this is how I want this to function. And of course, the role of business analyst also, which is very common in India. But yeah, you're looking at requirement. Product manager looks at spec and business analyst as a requirement. So if I look at it, I divided business further into management and business. But tech side, this kind of roles. Statistics, we're talking about data science, data analyst, modeler, AI engineer, AI in a ninja, ML engineer, business side, product manager and all. But as you're growing, I'm coaching several people here, even people with 35 years, 30 years experience. I'm coaching now because these are the people CXO already in the company is well established, but they want to get more and more into data. So this coaching assignment, 3 months, 6 months, when I'm talking to them, I'm able to give them a big picture. On the management side, how can you become data science head? How can you be CTO, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Innovation Officer, and then bring that data related changes. So in summary, if you look at it, the expectation from the industry is, how can you bring value from the data? More and more. If you don't believe me, Go to LinkedIn, go to Naukri, search for data. Guaranteed, I can tell you 80% of the jobs today in India, 80% of the jobs need something to do with data, analytics, machine learning, or AI combination. That's what the demand is. Every role, project manager, you'll see data. Product manager, you'll see data. Developers, you will see data. Everywhere is required. Why? Because people are saying, hey, the industry is moving. I want everybody to be there. Data literacy getting more and more prominent. How things work. I'm sure you all use at least 5 apps, 4 apps. But think about it. How is these apps capturing your data? How are they giving you value? And this, you don't need to be techie on that. But once you get understanding of that, you can bring more value. You can come with new ideas and so on. One other thing which I keep like is the phrase jack of all trade, master of some. A bit of master is required in some area, but if you have jack of all trade, you know everything, how things work, you are sort of the person. And last slide. Technologies are moving, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, everything is there. The next decade is going to be seeing a lot more of those, and AI is on top. The challenge right now is what are the use cases? How can we enable? Okay, so those are some of the challenges. With that, let me pause here. Let me open up for question. You have any question in mind? Happy to answer those and guide you further on this. Back to moderator for questions.
Thanks so much, Mukesh. And thank you for those amazing examples from your own experience that validated each point, right? I hope all of you did understand and imbibe a few things from what Mukesh just said. Please feel free to ask any questions you have for him. I do not see any open questions right now, so waiting some questions from you. I see Syed, who's raised his hand. I'm just allowing him to unmute himself and ask his question.
Yeah. Hi, Mukesh. Thank you for the good feedback and information about data, right? So now, people like me, we have like around 10 years experience in a particular industry, and we are trying to upskill ourselves, right? So the problem, what I see is, okay, I learned data science, I study the course, I complete the course, but then if I go to the job market, will my experience get valued, or the data science what I learned, will that be used to get job? Can I get job with that? So that is one question which I have now.
Okay, so question is very valid, and I'll be very honest here, right? Just by doing the course, right? If you expect they will give you a data scientist job, okay, that may not happen all the time. But the thing, Said, you have to look at it is all your experience. How many years experience you have, Said?
10 years.
10 years. So all your 10 years experience is your asset. Now you learn data science. Okay. Now when you're learning data science, you'll be going through the course, you'll be a lot of program you'll be writing, and all of those parts will happen. At the same time, you'll see what you can implement in your current job, current role. Okay. And then when you're looking for a job change, search on the internet, search on the jobs portal and everything, you will see several of the jobs where you can qualify, but not purely on data scientist. Why do you want to become a pure data scientist? You can bring in more value of your 10 years experience plus data, and you could be the one probably lead data scientist. You could be the one product manager. You could be the one who is a business analyst. A combination, don't leave the 10 years. Now look at the other scenario. Let's say if you go for pure data scientist job, fine. But then I can also get a person who is fresh out of college, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year experience person as well. So should I give you the 3 years experience salary or 10 years experience salary? So I, as a hiring manager, will always have that dilemma. So say to make it easier for you, you'll get, I want 10 years experience salary, but I only know this much data science. Then you have to go with a role which requires data science maybe 30%, 40%, and your 10 year experience also is used. So that is the thing we have to manage. Each of the role, as I mentioned, right? Product manager, project program manager, business development, okay, delivery head, they all need data science now. So you could be getting into those roles also. But if you have made up your mind that you have to become a core data scientist and all, I would say practice a little bit more, get into the role within your company, try to get there, and then move in, even though there's a salary cut, which is okay because you want to get into that domain anyway. In those cases, it's possible. There are people who hire senior people also, but the salary may not be the same. But if you look at compare the same 10 years plus data science compared to 10-year other person, yeah, easily commanding 30, 40, 50% more salary than the other person. Primarily because that is the demand, and not many people are data science literate right now.
So to just add on to that, you don't have to think of the course as a time where you have to actually quit your job because you asked, okay, will that also add impact my experience, right? So Upgrad helps you with courses that you can do alongside your job. So you've got certifications, you've got executive programs, and you've got master's degrees. So depending on how much in depth do you want to study, you can pick a course that would suit your needs best. And throughout all of these courses, we have embedded live projects and capstone projects to help you in understand hands-on of what this is about. So you can actually use that as a part of your resume and put that upfront in front of the interviewer when you're interviewing, right? So that can definitely be added in terms of your preparation as well. And there's a full component of career services that is also provided with Upgrad, because we understand that you need help with mock interviews. The likes of Mukesh are also there to help you out and guide you correctly through this course, because we understand there are people coming from various backgrounds, various industry experience, right? So that is also a very strong component of Upgrad's courses. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Meda and Mukesh.
Thank you. I will pick up, there are two questions from Mohammed.
Okay.
I can see he's saying, I am an MBA graduate with no programming skills, and I've worked 11 years in management. How can I excel in data science? Do you suggest a business analyst profession for me?
Okay, so Mohammed, question is very valid, and I've seen several people in the last several years at Upgrad, several people with similar to your background who come in and then learn those additional skills. I would recommend 3 roles for you: business analyst, product manager, and business development. These 3 roles, all your 10 plus years experience, right? You should be able to blend. You should be able to blend in with the thing you are learning new now. How would this come up with? This will come up the way it will come up will be, you will be able to talk to the client. You will be able to show the value, additional value you can bring into the client as a business development person, because now you know data science. You're not going to be saying, hey, wait a minute, let me get my data scientist. Hey, wait a minute, let me get my architect and all. And you don't need to be technical, because you say, hey, yeah, in this domain, let's say consumer product or retail, or let's say insurance. This is how we are going to bring value to the client in the data science piece, and client will be able to understand that one. That's the business development side. Business analyst definitely will be good. You will be working with the team, bringing in the data science ideas, algorithms, and everything. Even though you may not write the code, but somebody writing the code, you can at least ask those questions. Once you go to the course, you'll know, hey guys, what is the false positive rate? Can we do this part? This is not optimized here. I still see a leakage here. All those things, you can ask those questions once you learn this. The third element, product management, I would say, think about it as well. Of course, once you go to the course, you will be a lot more confident. Look at the product manager role in India. Top companies, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, they are all hiring those people, and hard to find people. Somebody who can think on the feet, somebody who can bring more value from the data. People with MBA background plus this data science course is the unique combination, and they look for. And you can look at yourself, by the way, LinkedIn, you will see all the jobs and the description, what they say and everything, and you will find it yourself. 3 roles, I would say. And in the top one is a product manager, then business development, and business analyst. When I say top one, which means the one which is, I would say, highly paid job in the industry. And then the second one, business development, and then the business analyst. But even business analyst compared to other business analysts, the difference is they are talking about 50% more salary.
Great, thank you for that. And it's not compulsory that you choose a data science course and then do become a product manager. Maybe that's definitely amplifying and an add-on. You can actually pursue a product management course as well, and let that be the foundation for your next job, because that would be helpful just based on the current experience that you have. Okay, I think Mohammad's second question is, the data science course in Upgrad is the most expensive compared to other providers like Coursera. Why this is so? Mohammed, there are different, like I said, there are 3 different types. There's advanced certification, there's executive program, and then there's a master's degree in data science. So depending on what you're looking at, because if you're comparing a certificate on Coursera against a master's on through Upgrad, I mean, we're talking of 2 very different things, right? So maybe you see that difference. Even if you want to do a apples to apples comparison on the certificate course on Coursera and the certificate program on Upgrad, I mean, you will see a lot of difference, because on Coursera, that course is entirely, recorded sessions. It's entirely up to you when you when you complete it. And as a matter of fact, the percentage of completion rates on that platform is just 2%. That means you just have a 2% chance at completing that course entirely. You may do it just to get the certificate out of it, but in Upgrad, we have a 88% completion rate. So you have an Upgrad buddy who will help you maintain and plan your day accordingly, right? Because you have to put in a lot of hours. The course is rigorous. It requires you to give it time for all the assignments, for all the live sessions also that you have on the weekends, along with the recorded sessions that you can watch at your own pace on the weekdays. So, and you also have services like career services and mentorship. You get in the master's program, you get 5 one-on-one mentorship sessions with industry experts, and we've got experts from across the world. So with all of these things at hand, there's a lot more value addition that an Upgrad course will provide to you, which other just certification courses would not, because that's entirely up to you when you complete it, and a lot of times you just complete it for the sake of it. So yeah, I mean, that's my honest opinion there. Mukesh, do you want to add anything?
No, I would say, see, on the data value, yes, of course, the courses at other places also, there will always be a difference here. So here, as Meda already said, at the industry mentor, I'm one of the mentor, by the way. I am mostly only focused on 15 plus years experience people are my coach. The other part, right, the real life examples and all, and those are parts of it. Of course, when people are choosing, right, they have multiple elements, and one of the things which I constantly see people, and I'm also sometimes get this challenge. If you sign up for a course where the I would say the rigor is not there, we end up, because we all are busy, we end up losing interest, we end up dropping out at some point. But yeah, if there's a rigor, if there is a coach, if there's a sign, we have a high chance of converting it, closing it.
Right. And I think one of the things that Mukesh was mentioning is also a component along with live sessions. We call it SGC, which is small group coaching, which means you also learn with your peers in the same group. And Mukesh would be your mentor, and you could be talking about, and he could be telling you about one specific problem, right? One specific aspect. And just in that session with other peers of yours who are also 15 plus years of experience, you get to hear their experiences, what they are attempting, their failures and successes. So there's so much you learn from that small group coaching session as well. So all of these components which are inbuilt as a part of Upgrad's programs is what makes it truly stand out, and the learning is so rich, and which is why we see our students transition even between the course, which is, say, out of the 12-month executive program, I have spoken to so many people who have transitioned in the 5th or 6th or 7th month as well, just because they were able to apply, see, the basics which were learned. Say DSA, right, is an initial module, which is data structures and algorithms. So they were able to utilize that learning in one of the interviews that they were asked, and they were successfully transition cases. So yeah, there's so much that's already there, do feel free to write to us at admissions@upgrad.com, and also reach out to an admissions counselor so that we can also connect you with people who have successfully transitioned, because then you'll be able to get more idea on how they are transitioning and how the course is helping them. Moving to the next question from Metrika. She's saying I'm into supply chain with no programming knowledge at all. How would data science and machine learning help me? Is it viable to change my profession? Just before maybe Mukesh to jump in, it is, you don't have to absolutely change your industry. So by profession, if you mean changing your function, that's absolutely possible. But if you really like the industry you're in, you can continue to stay in there, and Mukesh can tell you more about it.
Sure. See, my experience when people are moving into data science, right, especially with few years experienced people, so it is better to continue in the same sector, same industry, and then enhancing your role further. And there are 4 different ways to look at it. Okay, same industry, same role, data science, and enhance so that your growth promotion becomes better. Same industry, same company, but after you learn the data science, you're moving into the data science team as a data science lead or the sector's expert doing it. The first and 2 is what I strongly recommend. Okay, then comes the third part. Third part, you do some good first part and all, but in your company there's no role such like that, and then you move to another company, which is definitely good. Normally when you move other company, the best part is the raise you get, right? 30, 40, 50% easily you can get into today's demand world. Okay, you move to the other route. Yes, there will be something that you need to bring your new friends, new colleagues and everything, and then your bonus make it reset. All those things, small things matter. You have to consider. But you can go there. That's the third part. And the fourth part, I have seen that, I have done that as well, wherein you are in a one sector, one thing, and you suddenly think, no, I want to change something and totally change it. I've done that multiple times. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, I was into pure client server application for most of my career. One fine day, I think, no, I want to get into mobile advertising. Okay, tried. It took me almost 1 year to change the domain. I did it, but I had to learn a lot of things to do that. Okay, but yes, I was able to learn and then do it. So I think if you want to change, that is possible. Do it only if you are ready, but don't expect miracles to happen, right? You want to change, and I even like when I joined Capgemini, I had to take a salary cut. Why? Because I was always in a product company. But if I want something specific, I'm changing my domain, I'm changing my way of thinking and everything. Then yes, I have to cope up with that as well. So these 4 things are there. Just keep those back of your mind. I think each one of them is important. One thing I keep telling people: do the role which you want to do. You will never feel like you're working. You always feel like you're doing your hobby, and somebody's paying you for that. And I can tell you, in my 26 years, more than 25 years has been like that, and I'm only doing my hobby, and I'm enjoying doing that. So to take it from that angle, yeah, there are times where even I had my financial constraints. I had to focus more on finances, and I jumped companies because of that. But sometimes, I'm financially taken care of. Let me focus on the fun part of it, learn part of it, and that's what I've done as well.
That's truly inspirational. Yeah, I think I remember the quote, which is, you choose a job where you don't have to work for a day. And I think you're really lucky to have been doing that for so many years. Moving on to the next question, Ruben is asking, with a 2 years experience in the IT sector, what are my chances to succeed in data science with a certificate program? The chances are best defined by you, like 100% by you, right? In terms of how best you utilize that certificate program you're doing with Upgrad. The live projects that you're doing, are you just doing it for the sake of passing the course? Are you actually actively engaged in each of those? Are you actively trying to pursue side internships? Say if you don't want to continue in the same company as you are and you want to take a break just for the program, are you able to also pursue internships, which is adding on to your experience, and then you are then eligible for a further hike in the next company you apply to, etc. Right? So that's my answer, Mukesh.
I think you're very well you're given the right answer. I think ultimate goal is the success, right? Success, it all depends on 3 elements. First is, are you getting your self ready, skills and everything? That's the first part. Second, once you get the skill, the job will not come walking to you, right? You have to go for the job, right? So your passion and the search you do and the passionately you do this part, the second part. And third one, do you believe yourself? The conviction part, the attitude, has it changed your attitude? A simple example I'll give, right? You've like done the course, you got a certificate, everything is good. You know the skill and everything. And if I ask you this question, okay, if you do this, what would happen? And it's not in your domain, something totally random. And you say, yeah, we can expect good. We can expect regular. We can expect this. Okay, wait a minute. You're not even use a single data word. You're not even use. So is it making a change in you, right? For example, if I ask you, how much time did you took from your home to office or home to here, coming here, meeting me? Oh, half an hour. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's not exact half an hour. But the same answer if you give me 27 minutes, 34 minutes. Oh, the person is already living and breathing data. That will be the change. I think you have to make those things ready. Otherwise, it might appear that, oh, you have just done it for the sake of it. And then I will ask you this question. Why did you do this course? Then you say, oh yeah, everybody was doing it, so I did it. Or everybody wanted to do a job change and I did it. If that is the case, tell that. Don't lie. But even if you're done because you had passion about data, and if you tell that I was passionate about data, I was not sure when to do, but finally I decided to do this course and I'm doing this. And by the way, these are the 4 use cases I've already implemented, and I love doing this. You have high chance of conversion because it's coming from your heart, the reality. Of course, whatever it is, tell the truth.
Thank you for that, Mukesh. So Fitri is asking, they have a bachelor's degree in statistics, but no programming skills. 5 years in R&D at media, but now my job has no sync with my statistic background. So do you suggest a data scientist would suit my statistic background? And where do I start with after 5 years of R&D at a media firm?
Yeah, so 5 years of R&D media firm, and I can tell you, so many media firm is interacting with me right now, both in India and outside. The demand is huge. They all want to make money. They all want to understand the users. Okay, and that's the biggest challenge. Statistic background, I think it's good. You're already there. I would say 25% you're already there. Now, if you use the word business along with statistics, business statistics. If you want to use the word data science, a combination of the recommendation. Statistics is given you good foundation, but in R&D. But when you put all of those things together, you are able to predict. You're able to assist people in taking decisions based on the data. So all those things you will be able to do. I would say it will be a good mix. In fact, it will be easier for you initial days to ramp up on this course faster. But always have a focus in mind that and for this is for everybody, not just for you. Have a focus in mind that, okay, what am I going to do in media? What am I going to do in this area? What am I going to do in insurance? And if you come up with this, then the curiosity with this question, can I do this? Can I do this? Why am I getting more premium, higher premium in this case, less premium in this case? How does this work? And you'll be fine. You'll get your own answers. I would say it's a good mix with statistics for you.
Thank you. Oops, sorry, I was on mute. Thank you for that, Mukesh. Okay, there's one anonymous question on, has anyone with civil engineering background transitioned into data science with Upgrad? Absolutely, do write to us at admissions@upgrad.com, and please mention the same question. You will definitely be connected to the right person. And people across backgrounds, we've got 45,000 plus individuals who have completed programs with Upgrad, and out of them, I think we have easily about 1,500 plus transitions. So I'm sure there would be a lot of references you will get. Metrika is saying, I'm into a manufacturing company and no scope in my company for a data science position. So any possibility to get a job in a software company? Absolutely, there is. You can start pursuing a program which also has all the elements like the ones at Upgrad, right? You have career services, you have live sessions, you have live projects and capstone projects. And I think that all of that will, cumulatively add to your resume, build a stronger profile, and then you can start applying. Okay, just cognizant of the time, and we sort of reach the limit. So let me just launch a poll just to take feedback quickly from all of you who attended. Mukesh, if you want to stay for 5 more minutes, I think there are 2 more questions we have.
Sure.
Great. So in the meantime, let me ask you that question while all of you are just punching in the 2 questions asked to you.
Yeah.
So Guru Datta is saying, I'm a project management professional from a non-IT industry, geospatial domain, with a very basic programming background. What type of course at Upgrad will be useful for me? A DS, machine learning, NLP? Should I look at masters, the certification, or executive program?
Sorry, I didn't get the last part. One second. Let me open the question myself.
Yeah, Guru Datta's question.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Okay. So Gurudat, I think see, as I mentioned in the 4 career options, right? So in geospatial, I think the demand is high, especially if you look at it from the angle from the surveys people do and people specifically getting into more and more earthquake prediction also. I've seen huge demand in that area as well. So it will not be, I would say, I don't think NLP would be directly there, but yes, the other part on deep learning will definitely be available, required there to do it. And this is the place where one of my team, recently there was a hackathon in Asia Pacific, and one of my team came second in that area. And I was contributing there as well. We were able to predict the earthquake on a lat-long basis when it will go to occur. And it came very close. It came very, very close. It was just off by, I would say, 2 kilometers. That's how accuracy we were able to achieve. So this is possible to do it. Again, geospatial has a huge area. Gurudat, I think your knowledge, and you do get access to data. Because you're a project manager, you probably know in and out of this system. And now start adding data over there, and you will see your value yourself. And then you can decide how you want to take it forward. Because you will need to know what data science models can be used, especially when you're going for deep learning part, you will be able to get more value out of it. I can take the last question from Anjana.
Yeah.
Technical product manager for SaaS accounting company. This is it has many specializations like NLP. Which specialization do you recommend someone with technical product manager with? So if you're a technical product manager, Anjana, these 2 specializations, both of them are good, NLP or deep learning. And I'll tell you, if you have passion for text, grammar, okay, conversation, okay, emotions, little bit of psychology, okay, go for NLP. If you are like, I'm not. I do this, by the way, I wrote one of the first NLP program for Geo in 2014. But I'm not as, I would say, expert in grammar. My English is poor. Compared to deep learning, if you are really good at numbers, if you're really good at making meaning from this number to that numbers and all of those parts, go for deep learning. NLP is good. Not much research has been done in this area. So if you love emotions, if you love psychology, if you love text, grammar, everything, the sarcasm, the double meaning, all of those things can be done through NLP. So this is the way for your current role as a technical product manager, you will be able to, purely looking at the title without seeing what actually you do, deep learning will be better for you. But again, NLP should come from heart. NLP cannot be taught. You need to know, but it need to come from heart. And if you have passion, go for that. Okay. Okay, Meda, back to you. I think we have covered all the questions.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for so patiently answering each question. And thank you for all of you for being such a patient audience and asking such amazing questions. And thank you. I can see a few heartfelt appreciation on the chat. Thank you so much for that. And look forward to having you for more interesting sessions that we keep conducting. And do write to us at admissions@upgrad.com for any questions that you have. And do visit upgrad.com for any course that you think you might find interesting and would add value to you and your career. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mukesh.
Thank you. Bye.